like to call your attention to this picture here, and you can see that we have a billboard. I'm sure that you've seen billboards every day on your way to work, and here's a nice shiny new one. The only problem is that it's located in the middle of the desert. Now, unless you are a creature that lives in the desert, you're probably not going to see this, which means that the person that paid for this billboard spent a lot of money for it, and they're not going to get a lot of money back because nobody's going to see their billboard. This could even be the most immaculate billboard you can imagine. Maybe they spent thousands of dollars on design and the marketing message, but the point is, if it's in the middle of the desert, nobody's going to see it. The reason I bring that up to you is because I'm concerned that some of you have found yourselves in this situation. I'm talking about things like your website. It can be very similar to the billboard. Let's say, for example, that you spent a lot of money creating a flashy website, figuring out your marketing message. You've tweaked it, you've changed it, and the thing is, if people aren't seeing your website, it's like you have a billboard in the middle of the desert. It's a terrible thing. I'd like to call your attention to two different situations. In the first one, a person, I call her name Sally. She sees an ad in the local newspaper for a plumbing business. Now keep in mind she's a potential client. So now many will see the ad. This is, if you were to run an ad in the newspaper, many will see the ad, but how many will actually be interested? You know how it works. You pay a certain amount of money to have your ad in the newspaper, and the newspaper tells you, 20,000 people, read our newspaper every day. They're going to see your ad, and that's great. But the problem is, how many of those people are actually looking for a plumbing business? This type of advertising relies on people remembering the ad later when they want the service. This is something, that I'm sure a lot of you are very familiar with, branding your image and getting things to be out there. And that's, of course, it's important. The thing is that this relies on people remembering the ad later when they want the service. So when someone's reading the paper, they might need a plumber then, but hopefully they'll remember you. And when they do need a plumber, oh, that's right, I saw the ad in the paper. I'm going to go ahead and call Joe the plumber or whoever. Another problem and limitation with the ad is that it can only display so much information. So this is a problem. People are not advertising the newspapers like they used to because they're experiencing diminishing returns, and there's a strong reason for that. And of course, that reason is the internet. Let's look at another situation here. Situation number 2. An internet search. Sally sits at her computer and does a search for Baltimore plumber. So let's talk about this. You're at home and your plumbing pipes break and you need a plumber. You need one right away. What are you going to do? You're going to look up the newspaper and try to find that ad? No, you're going to sit down at your computer and type in Baltimore plumber. And the problem with this is that for many of you, when people are doing these types of searches, this person is looking for your business at that moment, and if you're not appearing there, it's like these people are knocking at your door and you're not there to answer. So what is the advantage of coming up in the internet search? Well, you have to keep in mind that when someone types in Baltimore plumber, they're looking for your business at that exact moment. This is so important. The person, once they pull up your website, they can instantly find out more information about your business. Now compare this to a newspaper ad, and you can only fit so much on that tiny little ad, and you can say, maybe you can list a benefit of your service or that there's a special or whatever. But when someone comes to your website, you really have an opportunity to really sell them. You can have all kinds of cool stuff on your website. So the point I'm trying to make here is situation 1 and situation 2, which one is going to bring you more targeted clients and more business? I hope they're able to see that the internet is incredibly valuable. Now, I'm not saying that a newspaper ad isn't worth your time. I'm just saying that you also want to consider the traffic that the internet can bring you. Let's take a look at a typical search result. What I did was I took a picture of, if you go to Google and type in Baltimore plumber, and this is what you see. It can be a bit overwhelming, but keep in mind the average internet user is very used to this type of situation. Here at the top we have these paid search ads over here, and then right here is something called the Google Local Business Directory, and then below are what I call the organic search results. Here's the kicker here. If you go home, check on your computer, type in what you think people will be typing in when they're looking for your service, and if your business is not appearing on this first page anywhere, you may have a billboard in the middle of the desert. And like we said before, that is a huge waste of money. You don't want to do that. You can get yourself in trouble. So what I want to talk to you is about how you can solve the mystery of getting your business to appear here. And it is not as hard as you think. It's not as expensive as you think. So that's what we're going to go through here today. Okay, let's go ahead and go forward with the second part of the presentation, then we'll follow it up by taking a look at that as well. Okay, so you can remember we last talked just about the the search results in the billboard in the desert thing. So right now you might be wondering, that's all well and good. I can understand the advantage of wanting to appear if you're a plumbing business to appear when someone types in Baltimore plumber. But the thing is, how many people are really searching for this thing? A newspaper might be able to say, your ad will be put in front of 20,000 subscribers. But with the internet, how in the world are we supposed to know how many people are searching for our business online? In fact, let's say, for example, you're in a small town here. Are there people even searching at all for this type of thing? Well, the great news about that is that how often people are searching online for your business is no longer a mystery. The most popular search engine in the world is Google. It commands an incredible amount of traffic, and Google is actually nice enough to track those results for us, and there's a tool that I have access to that I went ahead and took a look at the search results in this specific area, and I can tell you that it's pretty startling how many people are searching for the business online a month. We can look for here, and these results are based on last month's figures. That last month, over 2,000 people did a search that included the words Baltimore and plumber. So that means that over 2,000 people went to their computers and said to themselves, I'm looking for a plumber in Baltimore, and they typed it in. And as you know, they saw something a bit like this, and if your business isn't appearing there, it's like they're knocking on your door and you're not answering. And I tell you, that's bad business whenever someone is looking for you and you're not appearing. So you can research things yourself. This is the location on the internet where you can go to this handy dandy tool. It doesn't cost anything. It's free, and you can get an idea. Just type in what people are searching for, and it kind of shows. You can see it breaks it down here that some people wrote plumber in Baltimore, plumbers in Baltimore, added the S to it, plumbers Baltimore, and you can see, just get an idea. This is the column that you want to be looking at here, the global monthly search volume. So the next question then is, so we already established that people are looking for the businesses online. How in the world do you get your website to be visible in the search engines? Because certainly just having a website isn't enough. You have to do something special to it, something magic to it. What you need is search engine optimization. Search engine optimization, frequently called SEO, is the process of preparing and promoting your website in a manner that encourages positive search engine rankings. So in other words, the search engines, you have to keep in mind, have an incredibly daunting task. They have to, whenever somebody does a search for Baltimore plumbers, Google wants to make sure that they return the most relevant results possible. And in order to do that, the search engines take a look at all the websites out there in the whole world, and they figure out what the most important ones are. So SEO consists of two main parts. Number one, having a website that is physically optimized and tells the search engines accurately and effectively what your business is about. Let's think about it kind of like if you were to write a book and it ended up being for sale in the bookstore. Like, when